Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And welcome back to BUEI Talks, Island SOS. I'm William Campbell, and I'm your host for today's presentation. Once again, thank you very much for your patience with our technical difficulties, which we've now sorted. Hopefully, they won't take too long away from the time that we had for today's presentation. But again, thank you for sitting through them, and we hope it'll be worth your time waiting now. So this 8-part series is the second in our 2 8-part series for Island SOS, and each one focuses on a sustainable ocean development initiative that's being taken part in by island nations around the globe. Each presentation covers a different island and a different topic, and it highlights the unique perspective and involvement that islands have on ocean conservation. And they showcase the different practices that they've undertaken to safeguard the surrounding ocean. BUEI does appreciate the generous sponsorship of Chubb Bermuda, the exclusive sponsor of this series, and Island SOS aligns with Chubb's mission to promote a healthy and sustainable planet, to strengthen the resilience of communities, and to protect biodiversity against the effects of climate change. This is the 12th presentation in our Island SOS series, the 4th in this second cohort, and today we're focusing on the sustainable ocean strategy undertaken on Rapa Nui, known to us Westerners as Easter Island, and the work undertaken by Ludovic Burns and the coalition that he is instrumental in founding to protect the islands of Rapa Nui and to develop a marine protected area around them. So just before I turn over the floor to our good presenter, Ludovic, who's going to share a presentation with us and some thoughts on the work that they've undergone already, I'm just going to, as well, mention to Ludovic that we will be taking some questions from the audience after. And so if there's anything that you guys would like to ask our presenter for after the presentation is finished, please do keep your questions. We'll be happy to get around to them after. So once again, please give me a hand in welcoming Mr. Ludovic Burns with the citizen-driven marine protected area plan for Rapa Nui and Easter Island. And now, if you don't mind, and if we'd be happy to give up our time, we're going to ask Ludo to tell us a little bit about the work that they've done in the past little while.
Kapai mai, iro te koro nei. Kapai mai, iro te koro nei. Kapai mai, te atua mano te rangie. Hanga mātou mo hamaruru atu ki a koe. O oe, e vai mai te ora pouro te mahana mo here tātou, o ira, mauru tātou piri, ki te anga nei mo hakaite, i te hauhaa, i te puai o tātou henua, o runga tātou Vaikava. Yorana, everyone. I'm very, very happy to be in this opportunity to present about the social process and the cultural process that we made in Rapa Nui. So the title is Te Moana Tapu a Hotumatua. What that means that the origin, the genesis, all the history of Rapa Nui is coming from the first king that arrived to Rapa Nui, that is Hotumatua. And so, when beginning my presentation, first, always I'm calling that to be with me my ancestor spirit, because always you present your ancestor before you present you, because this is from your ancestor that you're coming. And so, happy to be there. And so, Te Moana Tapu, well, it's a powerful name, because finally we could create, but after a large process. And so Te Moana means the ocean, blue ocean, the big ocean. But when you say Tapu a Hotumatua, means the sacred ocean coming from Hotumatua. That is the origin of our king. In our story, the people where we're coming from Hiva, means an island far away. The people was dying because the ocean was eating the people. And so one day, one of the priests make a dream. And his dream, he flying in the direction of the sunrise. And so he find Rapa Nui. The first thing that he find he finds the volcano of Ranokau, where finally here there is water. And then he looking for a place where the king can arrive with the double canoe. So after his dream, he wake up and he will send 7 explorers that will come to Rapa Nui and will confirm the existence of the island. And after that, he will send a messenger to say to the king Hotumatua with his sister Avaraipua that this island exists, and then he's coming between 800 and 1000. So that's the origin, and so that's why for us it's a very pleasure to share a little about our history. So, okay, the next presentation. Yep. All right. So in this presentation, this is a line of the time that for us, like a Polynesian, we are always connected with the nature. What you have to understand about the story of Rapa Nui is not a story that is alone. So Rapa Nui belonged to the Polynesian triangle that coming from Rapa Nui, Hawaii, and then Aotearoa, that this Polynesian triangle for us represent our origin. Why we are connected? Simply that's because in one island that is in the north of Tahiti, in French Polynesia, there is an island called Raiatea. In this island, there is a big platform that for us represents the head of the octopus. And the octopus has 8 hands that represent the different way of navigation and connection. That's why when we talk about the tapu, the moa, the rahui, this is something that's coming from our ancestor, in the while that you have to look how the nature is moving. So you have to respect all the natural cycle of the nature. So for example, if you're going to the coast and you see that there is some fish that have some eggs, this zone is going to transform in what we talk rahui. Rahui means that you have to wait for catching this fish. You have to wait the next month that this fish will finish to give the eggs. So this vision is our heresy. That's why for us, conservation is not something new. And the conservation is not for us the name. The name is responsibility, reciprocity, and respect to the nature. But if we're coming to the new story of Rapa Nui, all beginning in 1976, where they declare the island nature sanctuary, yes, and so to protect our how to say our birds, seabirds. But what is interesting is that in 1979, the own fishermen decide to put a law that protects the lobster. So when we make it, they make the own fishermen. But what's happened that from this day to today, well, doesn't happen so much. After that, in 1999, there was a category where we protect the coral nui nui. Coral nui nui for us represent the origin of the life. Why? Because the coral represents something that's coming from the dark world. The world of the Polynesian is divided in 2 worlds. The horizon represents the division, and the dark world represents the world of the creation, the world of the spirit, the world of the ancestor. And so in this world, this is where we're coming from. So the coral represents the origin of the life. And every one of you that are there, our first world is in the dark world, because the dark world represents the feminine world. So every one of us coming first from the mother. So, and after that, you are in the dark world. Your first God is your mother. And when you're born to the world of light. Yes, that is the second world. And the sunrise and the sunset represent the intermediary world. So with this concept, there is a first proposition that beginning to make a social process that was in 2003. That is Michel Garcia, that was a French that coming with the expedition of Jacques Cousteau in Rapa Nui, and he wanted to protect 2 kilometers in the front of the town. But of course, in this social process, all the people of Rapa Nui coming and say, no, why are you doing that? This is only for you because you have a scuba dive center, so it's only for you. So this first proposal fall down. After that, and this is where I beginning, was in 2006. In this moment, we come back with this proposal to protect 2 kilometers in Rapa Nui. And in this moment, when we make this movement, there was a problem with the figure of marine reserve. Why? Because you need an administration plan to declare this. And we don't have the information for this. But in the same time, the people that was there was against. So what is interesting to understand in this time is that 2006 is the moment where the tourism is going to grow up. So at the same time, the interest was thinking that was only for money. But I was in this process, and a lot of people that I see today, when I remember them, when I saw them, and I say, do you remember if we would make these 2 kilometers of protection, what will happen today with this place where it will be the university for our children? But it fall down. During all this time, what is important to, between 2006 and 2010, this is where there is a lot of interest of external NGO that come to Rapa Nui, and they was trying to make a proposition. In this time, they come Oceana, National Geographic, Pew too, that coming in this time. But there is something that will make a movement in the society of Rapa Nui. That is when in 2010, the president will declare a marine park called Motomutirohiva without the people. So this declaration that here you can see the map, you can see that there is Isla de Pascua, Easter Island, and Sala y Gomez that is calling in Rapa Nui Motomutirohiva. So if you look the figure, you can see that this triangle that here was made like this because it will not enter into the 2,000 miles of Rapa Nui, of Easter Island. That is why they make it like this. So in this moment, the people of Rapa Nui will say no. At who you give the permission to make this without the people? We have a cultural connection with Motomutirohiva that represents the god Make Make for our ancestor, and then from this is coming the cult of the birdman in Rapa Nui. So after 2010 to 2014, So in the society of Rapa Nui, they will make some different movement. And in 2011, we will have the study about the marine reserve. But in this time, the social process was very, very difficult. So what do? We make in 2014 that we make a town hall for the city. And this town hall, if you look, you can see that from surfer, agriculture man, association of fishermen, dive center, everyone with the chamber of tourism and the municipality with the mayor, we create a town hall for the sea. And in this day, they participated about 333 persons, where we divide in different table of work. And in this way that we work during all this day. And the most important is that the people say 5 main conclusions. And it's very interesting because from this moment will born our organization called the Vaikava. And so the 5 main conclusions were to reestablish the ancestral law. This is what the people said. Generated more education to the community. To get a protected area that will guarantee and ensure the resources for the Rapa Nui people. And 4, to make more control against the industrial and illegal fishing. Why? Because the fishermen were saying the light during the moment where they are fishing. And finally, create a local management body to get an administration of all the things that have relation with the ocean. So it will be the base of our work that coming from the people. And so it's very, I would like to make just a pause right now to tell you that from the 5 main conclusions, today we make education to the community. We create our protected area. We have more control because before it was only 1 control per year, but now at least we have 3. And we create our local council that now is in charge of the marine protected area. And the other thing too is that now with the management plan, we will put our ancestral law. So just this small anecdote to talk to you. But what happened after that? We make a meeting each Monday at 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So you have to imagine what is to put only king in 1 table. So if there is only king in 1 table, what's happened is that was very, very difficult meeting and sometimes a lot of fight. But during all this, we generate about 52 meetings to arrive to the international event that was our ocean. And so in our ocean, as an organization, we present our work. It means we present that the Rapa Nui people want to protect his island. And from this moment, it will be a key that the government will sign a protocol that will recognize the work of the community, that will recognize the importance of the ancestral and traditional fishing, and then they will make a consultation to the people to say how they want to protect. So it's been signed by our president of the organization, our mayor, and our governor of Rapa Nui, and the Minister of Environment and the Minister of Exterior Relation. So it will be a base that we will have in the hand to make a big plan of communication where we arrive to the to 3,000 houses to explain what is the different kind of protection that we have in the Rapa Nui, education, communication, and this is a proposal that we have to generate a marine park around Rapa Nui. Why? Because we was frightened against the industrial fishing and the industrial mining. And in Chile, the only figure that of protection that can protect against this activity was a marine park. And so in Rapa Nui, it's amazing that you have the half that hate us and you have the half that support us. But what we was making, trying to give information, is that it was important to protect. So after this, during all this time, finally, with negotiation with the states, we will have in 2017, we will have the negotiation with the consultation with the states. And this process, that this is indigenous consultation, has 4 steps. The first one is the planification of how we are going to give the information. The second one is where we are going to give information to the different focus group. And from this, we will get the feedback of the people. And the third step, this is where we are going to make a meeting, but only with a local authority, without the states. And when we will have all this information, is the final step where we are going to negotiate it with the states. What's happened in this moment, in this negotiation, is that they don't want to make the figure that our organization was wanted. We say to the authority, tell to the people if they want this figure or if they want a multiple use figure. Because for us, the multiple use marine protected area is that allow everything that we are against, like industrial fishing and industrial mining. So finally, the people say they want to make this with the authority. After that, I've been elected, because it's have to be elected 5 people of the community to go and negotiate it with the states. So I was part of the negotiation of the states. So finally, the figure, it will be a multiple use marine protected area. Okay, when we arrive with the negotiation with the states, what we say is that, okay, you can do everything that you want in the marine protected area, everything. We are going to allow what you want, industrial fishing, industrial mining. Why? Because in the Constitution of Chile, you cannot prohibit a development of one person, of one enterprise. It's against the Constitution. So we say, okay, you can do everything that you want. But the only thing is, if this is not into our tradition and our use and our ancestral system of fishing, you cannot do it. You can do everything that you want, but if it's not part of our culture, you cannot do it. I'm not saying no. I just tell you that if it's not in the cultural way of Rapa Nui, you cannot do that. So this is how we should give back the situation. And finally, when we went to the votation, we have a figure that is a multiple use protected area, but where industrial fishing and industrial mining that don't belong to our tradition and our use cannot do that. So this is with the culture where we give back the situation. And so that's why in this photo, in the first one, you can see all the local authority where it's been 2 days of negotiation with the states, but finally we have an agreement where after that we have the votation where the people of Rapa Nui wanted to protect this area. And it was a Sunday, and on Monday we went to the Impact 4 in Chile to present this new figure. So it was a very interesting process. And so you can see the group that was part of this creation. After that, in the negotiation, what we do is that we could negotiate it that the council that will be in charge of the administration of this marine protected area will be elected by Rapa Nui people, but we will have the majority. So that is one of the very nice thing that we could negotiate it with the state, where finally in the administration we have majority. That I will show you just after that. But now in 2018 was the election of the first local council of Rapa Nui. And here you can see the person. And during this time, I was part of the support to make this, because as you know, the states declare a lot of marine protected area, but there is no resources to make this. But as the organization, we support and we push this administration. So now you can see the figure of the administration of this multiple use protected area, where there is 5 representatives of the government and 6 representatives of the Rapa Nui people. But what is interesting is that in the quantity of the representatives of the states, you have Codeiba, and Codeiba is part of Rapa Nui election. So finally, we are 7 against 4 of the states. So this is a very unique figure where the community have the majority in the administration of his marine protected area. So what you see is part of the activity that we make. We believe a lot about education, that is very important, because if you want to protect, you have to know. So that's why we make different program, education program, and some study with the council. And one of the big projects that we have now is the construction of the education and of center of education of the marine activity. That is one of the project. And now what process we are right now, this is what we hope, is that during all these 4 years that represent the first council, we work in a administration plan, that this plan is a base that will go again into the indigenous consultation. And so we hope that in August, September, this plan that the people have to be part of. I want this, I don't want this, because if the people is not part of the plan, your implementation doesn't work. So the people have to be part of this. So this is the big challenge that we have right now. And as indigenous, also as an organization, we are going to continue with 2 principal activity. That is one, the education program, and the second one is a system of cleanup that we will make all around the island, that it's called Hohonu. And in this process, what we would like is to be parts, that all the people, the institution, the private enterprise, the agency, the education, the college will be part of the cleanup, because Rapa Nui belong of one of the southeast currents where we receive a lot of plastic contamination coming from the ocean. And in this way, this is the two principal activity. And of course, now we are supporting the council, our authority. We are together to this process of consultation. So the other project, how I told, is Hareo Temoana, that to have an effective implementation of the marine protected area, you need scientist center to be part, like a tool, to have to follow what's happened in our ocean. So this is the process that we made in Rapa Nui. It was a big challenge, but with this vision of our culture, we could implement this marine protected area. And just before finish, I would like to say to all the people that are listening that our vision, our cultural vision is like this. When you sit down here, when I'm looking to you, for us, the future, tomorrow or after tomorrow or in 1 month, we don't know. The future, you don't know. And our culture, the future, you don't know. The only thing that you know is what you have in your front of your eyes, that it's called mata amua. What you have in the front of your eyes is your history, is your genealogy, is your ancestor. This is something that, yes, you know. And how you know this? This is what you are going to do in the present. The present is the work, is the seed that you're going to plant for the future. But the future, tomorrow, no one of us know what is going to happen. So with this, I would like to finish. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ludo. You certainly taught us an awful lot, and I am absolutely sure that there's a lot of us in the audience here who are thinking about how we can wear our own cultural legacies against our desires for the future. And Ludo, I'm going to turn over to the audience for questions in just a second. But before I get into it, I would just like to ask, it was certainly a long consultation process that you had in the local community with establishing the marine protected area. You'd mentioned very long, extensive town hall meetings. How easy was it for you personally to participate in the process as long as you did? What were the kind of major challenges that you found internally to the community in voicing their perspectives and desires for the future planning?
Well, first thing is that you have to understand how the people. So if you're going to make something, first you have to make a fire. So you have to make a fire, you have to make a barbecue, and then the people is coming. Yeah. And but what is the most interesting strategy too is that we arrive to the college, we arrive to the school, we arrive to tell to the children the importance of this, and automatically is going to the father and the mother. And well, you know, for my people, I was part of the people that are going to sell the ocean to the industrial mining. So just to talk about anecdotes that in the moment when the process was very, very strong and fighting and no information, that's why communication is very important. My mother called me. My mother called me and told me, son, you have to go out of this. And I say, why? Because they told me. They told me that it's not good. Oh, they told you. So do you forget who educated me? Who is my family, where I'm coming from? Did you forget it? 1 minute of silence. And then she said, okay, you know, but it's arrived at this level. So the influence in this, I would like to say that the influence of other people, other scientists, other university was coming to Rapa Nui and say that, but it was a very big conflict. But what is important is that to be correct, to be honest, and to continue and perseverance. That if you what you are doing is good, you have to continue. Doesn't matter. The people now the people is coming and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry in this time," etc. And now the people told organization, "What's happened with you? There, I saw this is going to fish very small lobster, you know." So the social process with the time will going to change, but perseverance and transparency is very important.
Absolutely so, and certainly can appreciate the approach you've taken with it. So before I turn over, is anyone particularly gasping with a question that's been on the edge of their tongue for the last little bit? Got two in the back.
Yorana. Sorry, I don't listen. Sorry, I don't listen. Just check.
United States. Me now? Can you hear me?
Yes. Now, yes.
I'm lucky. Thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to confirm that your consultations, when you were talking about the states, that was the Chilean states and not the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, the Chilean states.
Thank you.
And just, sorry, you're just behind me here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's very interesting because here we are also trying to develop an MPA, and all the challenges that you mentioned, they sound a lot bigger actually for you than they are for us, although we have been trying to do this probably, I think now it's probably 3 or 4 years. So it looks like we have much longer to go from your example, but I have one question. You mentioned that the MPA is a multi-use MPA, correct?
Correct.
Right. So the 2-kilometer area, then how is that? What are the regulations, or how is that controlled in terms of environment? Is it? Because you said the MPA was 2 kilometers away from Easter Island. Is that right?
Okay. So, well, today what we have protected is a marine park that have 150,000 kilometers square that is a marine park right now. And we have a multiple use marine protected area that is 520,000 kilometers square. Of course, it's a big marine protected area. In terms of protection, we depend of the vigilance of the Chilean state. And just right now, the small work that we made in Rapa Nui, we have a lot of universities that have come to Rapa Nui to make different kind of study. And just right now that we have the plan, the administration plan that will go into the indigenous consultation, just with this plan, we will have the base to the implementation of the marine protected, of the multiple use protected area that this plan will during 5 years. So we hope that in March of the next year, we could beginning to implement this plan, because this plan is like the constitution of the ocean. So it is a plan where you are going to say what you are going to do, what you cannot do, how you are going to make the monitoring, how many times you are going to make vigilance, all these things. When we will have the plan, the Chilean states, we will have the responsibility to find the fund to implement this plan. But we have to be realists. We have to see the truth. The truth is that we don't think that it will be like this, because it's so easy. No. So that's why there is a very big importance of the international NGO that help to support, to make some little activity, but to advance in this. So that's why the finance, the fund for this plan will be difficult during the first time. And it's why I believe a lot that the implementation of the marine protected area have to be a business plan. We need to project like a business plan where the state have to support, but we need to transform this like a business plan, because we cannot depend only from the state, from the Chilean state.
Mm-hmm. Like a blue economy.
Exactly.
Right.
To tell the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. But the shape of your marine protected area comes all the way to the shore of the island?
Yes, from the coast, 2,000 miles outside. Yes,
okay.
And the country have the administration of this. So each thing that everyone want to make in the ocean of Rapa Nui have to pass a protocol in the council about your research. If you want to make a research, well, you have to pass to the council, and the council will say, yes, you can do your research, or no. For me, it's not interesting, because this is one of the things that we negotiated in the administration, that we need that the research that is coming to Rapa Nui have to be research that we need. For example, I don't need to know that there is a new fish under 200 meters in the ocean. This thing, this discover, doesn't give me something to eat. Nothing, you know? So for you, for your, how to say, for your prestige, for you, it's important. But for my people, it's not important. What I need to know is what is the time of reproduction of the lobster, what is the time of the reproduction of the tuna. I need to know how we can fish like a sustainable way, how we can continue to eat from the resources that we have from the ocean.
I'm just going to ask you one more question. How are your corals? Are they healthy or are they suffering?
Just right now, they are suffering a little. That there is algae, a new algae that is coming to eat the coral, and then the coral is going to die. And these algae is coming from, well, you know, now the population in this coast, the population has grown up, and so all the water that is coming from the rain is going to, all the mineral is going to the ocean, and this is going to have food for these algae, and then to continue to kill a little bit. But generally, the coral in Rapa Nui are safety. Why? Because in the zone where we are, this is a zone where the current is moving. So in Rapa Nui, the water is a little bit more cold, that give more resistance about the climate change or the temperature that happen. So that's why generally the coral are safe in Rapa Nui.
Further questions from anyone? If I may.
Hello, thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to understand, so I think all the indigenous knowledge you have is, and you're imparting is amazing. Can you explain to us overall the area that you're protecting? It's in between Chile and Easter Island, and therefore it's part of like the law of the ocean. Is that how these marine protected areas work?
Well,
I'm just trying to understand, yeah.
No problem. What you have to think is that in the indigenous process, in the different step that we made in this moment when we make negotiation with the states, we make a thing that, well, normally the person that belong, because the states, the Chilean state say to us, half Rapa Nui and half Chilean states. Yep. With a different representative of the different ministry. And we say, no, we want 5 more 1. We want the majority. And they say, no, we negotiated. We are negotiated. No, 50-50. And we say, you know what? We are going to make 6, but we are going to give you 1 representative more of the state that will be the CODEIPA. And when we say this to the representative of the minister, they say, okay. So 6 Rapa Nui, 5 of the states. Or you agree with this? And they say, okay, we have an agreement. But the thing is that the representative of the states, that is the CODEIPA means the Commission of the Development of Easter Island, the Isla de Pascua. But this person, we say that was part of the state, because the states create this figure. But the truth is that this person, this representative, is part of the people of Rapa Nui, because they are elected by the people. So finally, in the administration, that this council of administration, that is a big one, where you have a co-administration between the Rapa Nui people and the Chilean states, is 6 representatives of the Rapa Nui Sea Council, 5 representatives of the states, where we have the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Economy, and the Minister of Environment. And the 5th is CODEIPA, that is the Commission of Development of Easter Island. So this council have 4 meetings per year. Yeah. So in these 4 meetings, where we have the meeting in Santiago, in Chile, this is what the local council work, and then all this work is going to one of these 4 meetings to make agreement with the states. One of the things that I would like to promote in every trying to create a marine protected area, I think that it's very important to work with the states, well, in particularity in Rapa Nui, with the Chilean states, because the implementation, you cannot make it alone. You need the states. But with this figure, we have a figure where we are connected. I think that this is a good example that could be replicated, could be copy in the creation of the new marine protected area. And there is other thing that is important too, that like organization, we support the 30-30. This means to protect 30% of the ocean in 2030. That now this is the opportunity to create marine protected area. Perhaps right now we don't have the best or the best plan, but we are protected, and so it's a big advance.
Thank you so much.
Any further questions from the audience? Yep, sir, I'll come to you in the front in just a second.
Thank you for the presentation. How much of your economy is based on fishing as far as exports? And how will that be affected by this marine area?
Very, very good question. Well, and in terms of economy, the principal economy of Rapa Nui is coming from tourism. We receive in the high point before the pandemic about 120,000 tourists per year. So this economy is very big, and generally all the fishermen, all the thing that we catch from the ocean and our agriculture is going to the tourism. But what I would like to share with you, this is something very, very important. 2 years of a pandemic in Rapa Nui has been that we were 872 days close to the world. We were close to the world. No plane can arrive to Rapa Nui, and if there is plane, it can arrive only 10%. That this 10% is going to a process of that control. And so the truth is that during this time of pandemic, we were living well. That's the truth. No tourism, no stress, time, and yes, not a lot of things, of course, but come back to the origin. The fishermen make a very, very important work in the food, in the alimentation of Rapa Nui. And it explodes to the agriculture in Rapa Nui, where now the people is come back to plant again. Yes. And so that's why 2 years of pandemic has shown us that we need to develop sustainable fishes in Rapa Nui with inversion plan that can make more professional the fishermen and make a better quality of what we catch, like the tuna, etc. And some boats, some artisanal boats that can be more big, because we need to develop the sustainable fisheries for Rapa Nui. And in this, well, this is the idea that we have about the blue economy. We need, well, if we are going to protect, good, but we need to make a new economy because we cannot depend only from the tourism. And I hope that I answer your question.
Yes. And as a tourist there, I certainly enjoyed the fish. Thank you.
Yes.
If I may, sir?
Yes, thanks. I was just wondering how the cleanup is going at this point. It was one of the things that you had mentioned that you were doing, coastal cleanup.
Yes, very good question too. Okay, so on Thursdays, 8th of June, that is the anniversary of the creation of our marine multiple use protected area. That is the International Day of the Ocean. We are going to beginning and we are going to present a program that is called Hohon. From the year of 2018 to now, in Rapa Nui, through different projects, we make a program of cleanup that is in the coast, that is in the beach, and or in the mountain, the volcano that we have around the island, where you can arrive only with boat. So we have four categories of cleanup. One is with the boat, that you cannot arrive with the car or with walking. One is all around the island, where you can arrive with the... Wait a minute. Here you can see the island, right? So all these parts it's making with boats. All these parts, all these coasts, you can make it with a car, and you can make it with a bus. The other part down is a volcano, and here you have to go in boat. And here we have the two beaches where we receive microplastic. So now we have identified 9 places where the current arrive and where there is more concentration of plastic. And so from 2018, now we have collected about 12 tons of plastic, and we capacitation to the other institution that now is making cleanup. You know, so it's not only our organization that make cleanup. Now there is institution of the state that make cleanup. Now you have the college that make cleanup. Everyone is making cleanup. But this program that we want to say in the Day of the Ocean, this program is to make a protocol of how you have to make the cleanup, how many times you have to make the cleanup, because this is a cultural, this is environmental, and it is a biologic cleanup. Cultural because when you are going to the place, you have to know about the story of the place. After that, you make the cleanup. So when we make the cleanup, we're trying to say that the solution against the plastic is not the cleanup. We cannot clean everything. But the solution is each person of you. So each time, for example, that one bottle of plastic that you're going to reuse, each time is a plastic bottle less in the ocean. So there are some small actions that the people can do. This is our objective. And now, with all this plastic ocean that we have in stock, what we are going to do is a plan with different enterprises that are going to support, and then this plastic is go back to Santiago to make a process. And what we hope to do with this is to make and process some plastic wood that have the brand of this program of Hohonu and say that each time that you will buy this wood, plastic wood, each time you will support our work. That's why for me, with all this year of work, I understand that each action have to be planning like a business plan. If not, you cannot do action.
And just one or two more, if we may.
I've really enjoyed the talk so far. I've always wanted to visit Easter Island, but I was wondering, do most tourists arrive by plane or do you have cruise ships? And if you have cruise ships, are they large ships and have they had any impact wherever they make port?
Okay, good question too. Yes, the majority of the tourists is coming from the plane. We have a plane by the company LATAM. And yes, we receive cruise ship too. And if there is an impact, yes, there is an impact. But this impact is absorbed because when they come one day. You know, generally they come one day, maximum 2 days. So in this one day, it's moving all the transport, all the guides to make this tour. And what's happened is that now in Rapa Nui, the Rapa Nui Archaeological Park has a local administration. It means that we have an indigenous community that it's called Mauhenua, that have the administration of 46% of the superficie of the island. So when there is a cruise ship, there is a control where they can go only in the place who have the capacity to absorb this quantity of person. So there is some place, for example, that you cannot go with this kind of tourist because the group are too big and the people generally who come in this cruise ship are old. So this is how we're trying to absorb the impact of these tourists. And the second thing that I would like to share with you too is that our fishermen, the two organizations of the fishermen in the principal small port that we have in Rapa Nui, make a negotiation that now in the place where they put their boat to go fishing, when there is a cruise ship, they move all the boats to another sites. And so the cruise ship now is coming and work with the fishermen. So each time that this tourist is coming to Rapa Nui, each tourist is paying $4 for the two associations. And so now these two groups have this entry from the tourism, and so to make better his small port. And just to continue with the subject of the port, right now in August, September, we are going to have this indigenous consultation about the administration plan that we have. But after this, we are going to have a second indigenous consultation that have relation with the solution of the port for Rapa Nui. And so I think that in this way, it will be the same process, large process, social process, but we will have response and answer from the solution for the port. Because if you ask to me, we need a port, a sustainable port, because the population is grow up and about 40% of the population of Rapa Nui have less than 30 years. So this is a young population. So we need to make a development in the ocean.
Thank you very much, folks. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm afraid we are running down on time for questions. I'm sorry I didn't get around to everyone. I would, however, encourage anyone who has any further questions for Ludo to potentially reach out to him via contact details on the flyers for the BUEI talk today. However, I would also like to extend my thanks to you all for attending today. Hope you've learned absolute even half of what I've taken in from Ludo this morning. But with that regard too, we'd like to also extend a thank you to Chubb for providing their sponsorship for this series, and to invite all of you back to attend the next talks in this series, which again will be running every first Sunday of the month until October. Once again, thank you very much for attending this afternoon, and once more, if we can ask for a big round of applause and thank you for our speaker, Ludo.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy. Hanga mo hamaruru atu kia korua mo pirimai mo hakarongo mo ui tatou anga. Kia korua hai here, hai hanga, hai mahatu kia korua ta atoa tatou henua o Rapa Nui ka pai mai korua. Thank you very much to every one of you. Well, I was saying in my language that with my ancestor, with our spirit, I'm very, very happy to share all these things for you, and I hope that it can help you in a way. And you're welcome to Rapa Nui to visit us and to know about our history. And I'm very happy to see you, all these people listen this story from so far away. Thank you very much to BUEI for this Island SOS, for this opportunity to share this story. Thank you very much. Maururu kia korua.
Sharing with us. And once more, you can check out the entire BUEI Talks on CITV. And once again, thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you again next time. Okay. Ludo, sir, can you hear me? Oh, sorry, I'm just going to shut the auditorium doors very quickly, Carla.
Hi. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. I learned so much sitting here behind the scenes. You know, you shared in a way that was so personal to who you are, and you represented the culture of Rapa Nui. And that's something that here in Bermuda we struggle with in terms of having a cultural and historical connection to our land. That's been broken. Probably part of, you know, colonizing and everything else. But Bermuda, when it was discovered, was an empty island. So we have no stories like you do. We don't have those stories to tell. And I think that has led to a real breakdown in how we engage with our island home. And it's very sad. So to hear you connect your history and culture to your appreciation and protection and respect for your environment and the ocean around it. I mean, oh, let me end this recording.